Well, I'm a songwriter, and songwriters are people that are so compelled by their experiences that they want to capture them. And it's a performance art for me. I'm a singer and a songwriter, so when I put something down that I feel is worth sharing with people, I'll do that. You know, music, vocal music especially, has always been very interesting to me. I remember my mom told me a story once about sitting in church, and she had to put her hand over my mouth because I was repeating everything that the person on stage was singing about. And I've followed that instinct to perform and sing, and it's always rewarded me. I always knew that music had a special power over me, and I was always wondering, what is this power? Why do I hum these melodies to myself and drive around in my car thinking about these words that these people have convinced me to listen to with their little trick of making it rhyme? And so I thought, I can figure this out. And I just started writing, I suppose, like any writer would. And you write a bunch of nothing, garbage, and then every once in a while you put something in your journal that you feel like, yeah. When I was living in Seattle, Washington, I figured out how to hack the system and turn in papers by email and never having to really go to school. And that was great because that let me live far, far away from the university with a bunch of crazy artists. And we would just make up parties and songs and performances and dances and architecture, and that was when I realized that, hey, maybe I can get away with this. Computer science, architecture, art, music, vocal music. I've been a student of vocal music, choral music, jazz music, all my life. Record stores. Even to this day, I'd much rather go to a record store than sit on the internet and read some overheated puffery. Well, it's just my trick to get songs into the world. It's all just a trick. Having a name and a title and a costume and a time to go on stage. It's all just show business, really. Which is to say that I use that moniker so that people will come see the show. It's an easy thing to understand. A lot of people have experienced that. Piano bars are very popular in major cities in the world. They're very popular on cruise lines, and they'll probably become more popular as time goes on because it's a very simple show, really, if it's done right. It's easy to understand. It's easy to really enjoy yourself as an audience member if the showman is doing his or her job. Well, the best memory is probably, if I can be completely honest, playing for audiences of underage kids. This only happens on cruise ships every once in a while, generally Christmas break. And the thing about playing for teenagers is they don't have any conception of what they really like yet. So you can turn them on to things that they haven't had the experience in life to be opposed to or bored by or scared of. Young audiences, they are open to me. or to anything really. That's just the nature of being young, isn't it, brother? Well, life is a balance, I guess. And I would like, just like any artist, for my work to find a larger audience. But, I guess I believe in the words of Bob Dylan, who said that things are handed to you when you're ready for them. And so the act of recording to me is just trying to make something that's worthy of being listened to. And, recording technology has been so easily attainable by pretty much anybody. So you can make a great record in your basement. So I've always tried to get as close to that as possible. I've never really found any success in a big studio. Although my latest record we did in a little studio in Oakland, California. And that was a good time. But studios mean big budgets, and for my type of music, it means a lot of players, and that can be difficult. You need the right people, I think. So maybe those right people are watching this interview. Well, I think that's a long question, but I'll answer it honestly. It was just a professional contact that wanted to take the gig, but had already taken another gig. It's just a network thing. It's not a very good answer to that question. I love American singer-songwriters, and why are they an influence on me? Well, American music is special because not only has it had a rich cultural history to draw from, but it's where I'm from. Everything from the Violent Femmes to Paul Simon. Anybody who gets on stage with something that they want to get across. I feel like American music, for the most of recorded history, has really had something that it wanted to get across. It was good for something. It wasn't just good music, as in it's got a good beat, it's got an interesting sound, it's got talented performers, but it has something to say. So America has allowed people to say things. It's forced them to have to use their artistry to say something, and that's something to be very proud of. Well, the marriage of lyrics and music is a really interesting topic because that's where the magic happens, right? So you can have great lyrics like that are meaningful and insightful and interesting, all the good stuff, but without the supporting language, the musical language behind it, you can't really get to the magic. Then you're just speaking. But the music also, the music can be overzealous, and lost, and fancy, ostentatious, and all sorts of mistakes, or maybe not mistakes, but according to your aesthetics, like you just not exactly painting the right picture for you. Of course, at the highest thing, it's art. So if it gets across what the person who made it wants it to get across, or at the very least inspires someone to have a strong reaction to it, then it's good music. And it really takes both of those things, to me. I think that Jamie Cullum has a great respect for American music, as as I do. And I think that the dude's a wicked piano player, and I'd love to jam with him sometime. You know, I don't know too much about the dude's history other than my sister playing his record for me a few years ago. And I was like, wow, this is great. Yeah, you know, the international jazz scene, I think, is a pretty cool place to play, and I'd love to see more of it. I'm going to go back to the Dylan quote. I can't, as an artist, you sort of surrender yourself to the mercy of the audience. If you're really doing your job. I watched Jack White today play on television, on NPR actually, and I've always really loved his style because he's so emotional when he's on stage. Like he was playing, he's been doing this for quite some time. He's playing his songs that he wrote 15 years ago at this point, and you can still see the man like existing in that world that he wrote that song in. And he trusts his audience to just let him be like that. And to me, that's the most important way to perform, is to let your audience just let it happen. And so for that, because that's my way of thinking, I've embraced that kind of thinking. I don't know what to say about what comes next. What comes next will be what I earn when I put my pen to paper, or when I sit down and play for 2 people at a bar, or 100 people at a bar, or 400 people, or you gotta earn it. I want to write for Pixar Animation Studio. I want to write movie songs. You know, America, the reason everybody knows a lot of this material is because it was popularized by film. And I really, really venerate the directors and writers and thought process that comes out of Pixar. That studio is just fantastic. And I want to work there. I want to clock in, and sit down and read a script or a scene or see something or talk with someone, and then go back to the piano and write 5 songs, and at the end of the day, cross 4 of them out, and do it the next day, and then do it the next day, and then make something great with other people that want to tell a story.